Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
Speaking of rucking, it brings me to like the main thing I wanted to talk to you about. I guess what made you want to take on this 24-hour 40 pound, right? 40-pound ruck world record. Like how did you first see it? What went into planning it?
Yeah, so it's as simple as me going out into my garage and trying to push training out there. And my whiteboard was blank, and it's always full of some sort of event on the calendar, on the whiteboard, how I'm training, whatever. And I just didn't have any finish line in front of me. And I always preach you need that. And I said, well, maybe this is because I need to do it for someone else this time. And I started to put that out there, and people would come to me, and it just wasn't becoming the right fit on both sides, until I got linked up or hooked up with Oscar Mike, and then it was game on. But the actual record, obviously, I was searching for something with rucking, and I knew Nubia would be the one taking all the fast short ones. So I was like, why even attempt that? That's kind of his world. Let's jump into mine. And I scrolled down, saw a 24-hour one. And not only was it something I looked at and I said, this is doable, uh, but it was a guy from Iran. And I'm like, hey, well, why is it in the US? Why doesn't the US have this record? And on top of that, we had the honor of going to Oscar Mike's annual red tie event or their
Yep.
ball last year, and kind of like put the feeler out that we're doing this. And I mean, to put some pressure on myself on top of all of that, I backed myself into a corner where they were having this big event, banking on me getting this world record, having the adjudicator on site, on stage to announce it. There was a guy from American Metal, Josh, who was designing a one of one custom 250th anniversary of the military uh, motorcycle chopper. And, it's just insane what he put together. And he actually had a gas cap with my name and Guinness World Record on there to put on at the ceremony. And
Oh wow.
it was just this big thing, and a lot of it was banking on me finishing this. And that was the stress to train, that was the stress to complete it out there. uh so yeah, backing myself in a corner with a no exit plan. There's no quit, you need to get this done scenario. uh it's just crazy, but we got it done based off those scenarios.
I think that's a great way to go about it. There's some people that say like don't tell anyone and do it silently, this and that. But when you back yourself into a corner, again using the word animal, like that's when they're most dangerous. And so, you're starting to do this event, was there any worry in the back of your mind that like, oh, maybe this won't get done, or were you like full of self-belief at that point?
No, before I stepped off, that crossed my mind, and the entire time, uh, to include 6-8 months prior, every single day of my life, in my dreams and in my training sessions, everything. It's like you need to complete this. Like this is going to be really shitty if you don't. Uh, so yeah, I it crossed my mind, but every time it did, I shut it down and said, no, that's not it. It's just not an option. It's non-negotiable. Like this needs to get done. However, my crew will tell you there was one time I entered the tent at about 60 miles, and I was in that headspace. I think it just started raining and it got really cold. I didn't have any rain gear when I was out there on that loop, and it just got really windy and just stupid for a little bit. And I came into my tent for transition, and those demons started creeping in of, oh, will this get done? And I start running numbers, and I said out loud, I need to unfuck myself right now, you know, and the whole room just lit up like holy shit. He's there, you know,
Mm.
and they saw me kind of going downhill, and as soon as I said that, Yancey went out on the next lap with me, and it just completely flipped everything back into the game.
If I needed someone to motivate me through anything, I don't if it's sewing, is if it's this or Yancey Culp is that guy.
Yeah, he was our director of motivation, and he came through.
How many times, plus or minus 50, did he call you a cyborg?
You know, I think one time, and it might have been on that loop, but he got weird. He was like dressed in all black, and he would just like pop out from the trees and like scare us. And so we started calling him the ninja.